Okay, you are.
I'm here.
This is her. She's
Can you hear me?
CEO of your your audio needs to be checked a bit. She has created an e-commerce platform for mountain produce in Himachal. She is incidentally, I would like to hear this from her. She's incidentally somebody not at all from the agriculture background. She transformed her own career and herself living in the mountains of Himachal. So over to you, Amshu.
Namaste everyone. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you, Amshu, loud and clear.
Yeah, so good afternoon and namaste to all of you. So I'm basically from Mysore. So about 4 years ago, I moved to Himachal Pradesh. And when I was traveling in Himachal Pradesh, I came across this very interesting producers in Spiti Valley, right? So all the indigenous food varieties. And they were like these two small girls who introduced me to their local food and local culture, right? And even because I presentation, because I have just 5 minutes, to talk to you all. And I want to have a very informal conversation, just tell you the story and a very small introduction about the kind of one important forest produce that we work very closely with. Essentially, we work with all the indigenous varieties of Himachal. We work in 3 districts. My startup is called as Tapasu Foods and it's registered as an LLP. We were incubated for a year in IIM Bangalore and SRCL, where the entire idea germinated out of it. And today we have access to 3,200 farmers in 3 districts of Himachal. We work in Spiti, we work in Lahore, we work in Kullu, we work in Mandi. And there's one interesting produce that I want to talk to you about. I'll mention all the producers that we work with. We work with barley, we work with buckwheat, we work with black peas, which is called locally as kala matar. We work with forest producers like seabuckthorn, rhododendron, rosehip. More specifically, I personally am very focused on seabuckthorn as a produce, and seabuckthorn is a produce which is still out there in the wild, and we work very closely with institutions in developing the cultivable varieties for farmers to create it in the orchards. And this is just by softwood cutting and hardwood cutting. There's no mixed breeding or anything that we are doing out of this. And we also work with institutions in developing products from these producers and encouraging farmers to take up this through a technology transfer and creating them as entrepreneurs themselves through FPO creation, right? So we map through cluster formation, we map farmers to come together who work with indigenous variety of producers, and we create where the products are manufactured. And that's when Tapasu comes as a marketing agency, or you can call this as a marketing hand-holding for the farmers, where we connect them through existing distribution channels or export houses or any other variety streams of how they can sell their produce, not just through mandis, but also through these platforms also. Another interesting thing that we do is we work with farmers in telling them that you don't have to sell black pea as a black pea, right? To give them higher returns, you can sell black pea in the form of a black pea powder or a black pea extract, essentially. So this is what we do. So for today's session, since I have limited time, I will just touch upon one produce that I work very closely, which is seabuckthorn. I'll just share my screen and show you on one presentation that I have.
We can't hear you now. Amshu, we can't hear you. Hello?
So I'm having some issues with the internet.
Okay, now I think I can hear you mumble.
Now?
Yes, please go ahead. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, you can. Yes, we can.
Gauri, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, I'm having some issues.
Okay. I
I think
she can't hear us. Yeah.
I think can we can you please shut down your video? Then I think it will be better. Okay, I think we lost her.
Yeah, we lost her. I think she'll come back. Not to
Yeah, she will come back. I think if she shuts down her video, then it will be better.
Let her come reconnect back. Is Aarti there? Aarti Deshpande, is she there?
She is here in the meeting, but I don't know. She is not replying, so I'm not sure.
Oh, she's there in the meeting?
Is it the same one in the co-host? You can see Aarti Reddy Devaram.
No.
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 Gauri, with the internet, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. I think your presentation is an issue.
Okay, so I'll just do without the presentation because I'm literally, so we had heavy rains yesterday, so the internet connectivity is really bad here in the mountains. Sorry about that. Okay, so I'll just show you about this produce called seabuckthorn, right? So seabuckthorn is a wild produce that that grows in the Ladakh region, Spiti, Lahaul, Sikkim, Arunachal Pradesh in our country. And it's a forest produce, and it's a produce that has been researched for almost 2 decades by DRDO and by CFTRI, CSIR, and all these higher institutions. So this produce is a berry. It's a forest berry. It's an orange color berry. And the berry is used since the Tibetan traditional medicines, right?
Yeah.
So
Amshu?
we have clusters for seabuckthorn harvest, and we work with the farmer. Hello?
We are losing you.
Yeah, that's seabuckthorn. Yes. Yeah, showing you is seabuckthorn. We also work in harvest. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Please go ahead. Okay, I think we are losing her. Fair enough. What we will do is for Amshu, we will share her presentation or a brief video of what she's been doing with seabuckthorn as well as other products in Himachal. She's doing some amazing work, very good sustainable work for the farmers there, and also bringing high nutrient value produce, processing them, researching them, processing them, and bringing them to the urban cities. So creating a whole value chain is the work she's doing. I've met her and I've spent a lot of time, with her understanding this. I'm sure we will try for one last time, and then we need to also move on because we are close to 1 o'clock now. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Do you want to try one last time? Yeah.
Yeah. So I will do without my video. I'll just speak on it.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, we'll try this time. And so what we are doing with seabuckthorn is we have been working with the IIT Mandi Medicinal Plant Lab department, where we have worked in development of products for this, because this is a new produce and it doesn't have products existing in the market as such in the Indian market. So we have been working with them in creation of nutri infusions, what we call them. These are nothing but herbal extracts of the leaves. and we mix them with different other forest producers. Like we have a variety with rhododendron, we have one variety with rose, and we have a variety with tulsi. So we have 4 different flavors, which we have developed the technology, and we have trained the self-help group in the Mandi region, which is close to the IIT campus. So we have trained about 12 women in the manufacturing of this product. And now we did a pilot project last year where we developed 3,500 infusion bags for market testing. And this year we are developing 30,000 tea bags. We're manufacturing 30,000 tea bags. And we are essentially mostly looking at B2B sales. That is what we do as a startup. And along with this year, what we have done is we have realized that to structure this entire system, because it's a value chain that we are creating and a cluster, new cluster that we are creating, we are working in the formation of an FPO specifically for seabuckthorn in Spiti. And we have mapped 400 farmers who are going to be harvesting these producers from the wild. And these 400 farmers will also be our trial agents for the cropping, the new crops that we are developing for as orchard varieties. So we are privatizing the nursery system here in Himachal. We are working closely with the Department of Horticulture and also under Ministry of Ayush, where we have bringing schemes, and we are training farmers for developing their own softwood cuttings and hardwood cuttings in collaboration with CSK HPVK Palampur University here, a professor and a scientist who's developed the nurseries for it. And we at a time we have been making nurseries of 10,000 plants, which will then be given out to the 300-400 farmers who are going to plant it in their fields, empty fields, and also in the marginal fields that are around the boundaries of Spiti River. And it's going to be a 3-year long process for it to bear fruits. Fantastic. And once we have this, that's when the entire harvesting will come into picture.
Fantastic.
So this is what we're working.
Amshu, I had the good fortune of visiting the seabuckthorn areas in Ladakh. Yeah. And also the fortune of visiting the processing. I mean, it's like a first level processing of removing the pulp. So seabuckthorn, even the leaves are used. I think it's stem, if I'm not mistaken, too, and definitely it's berries. So, and it is very, very tough because it is very thorny, okay, and it goes in this marshy thing. So the farmers who have to take it out, they really do hurt themselves a lot.
Yes,
So in some places, I believe it is, at least in Northeast, I believe in Sikkim, it's not allowed, it's not permitted by government to harvest seabuckthorn, right?
Yeah, in Sikkim, it is not allowed. Arunachal Pradesh has a very different variety where I think the DRDO also is working in Arunachal Pradesh now in the variety of seabuckthorn that's there. And so Gauri, just like you mentioned that it's, seabuckthorn is considered like in the southern part of the country, we call coconut as Kalpavruksha, right? Like every single part of the tree can be used, coconut tree. It's very similar to seabuckthorn. Seabuckthorn is like every single part of the plant has been used for centuries by the tribal community here. Everything, including the roots. So the tree is planted in the outskirts of the fields because it has a nitrogen fixation capacity and holding the soil in place, right? So, and then you have male plants, you have female plants. So this is a tradition. It's a knowledge. It's a knowledge which has been there for almost 8th century, which we are trying to protect and which we are trying to enhance and build and merge with the new existing technologies and new existing products that can come out of it for the health benefits. And seabuckthorn is also a produce which has, along with, we also speak about macronutrients, right? But along with macronutrients, we have about 192 registered or researched micronutrients that are available in seabuckthorn. It's also called as a miracle berry, right? And it's a berry that can give you all the micronutrients that you need with just one consumption on a daily basis. And we did this testing with our sports athletes, right? So in the mountains, we have a lot of athletes who come for ultra running, for marathons.
Very high on vitamin A, vitamin C, especially very good for COVID, I must say. Extremely, it fights infections, virals like anything else. I don't think there's anything as potent as seabuckthorn.
So seabuckthorn leaf has antiviral capacities, right? So it can detect viruses, and it can also help in knowing what kind of virus exists in a human body. So seabuckthorn leaves is something which has that very unique property that is not available in most of the leaves that exist in our country, right? So this is where we are also trying, because IIT Mandi and IIT Roorkee have been working under the ministry now for coming up with an immunity boosting product which will help fight the COVID and also build on the immunity for people.
Seabuckthorn could be an answer. We never know. It could be there.
Yeah, could be. There's still a lot of research to be done, still of lab testing to be done, because we are very way beyond in, understanding the produce.
आप में से जो लोग हिंदी में जानते हैं, हम लोग seabuckthorn करके एक बेरी के बारे में बात करें, जिनकी लीव्स, रूट, स्टेम सब कुछ यूज होते हैं. ये एक थॉर्नी वाइल्ड बुश है वैसे, ये जो ज्यादा बहुत पहाड़ों में देखा जाता है. लद्दाख में होता है, सिक्किम नॉर्थ ईस्ट साइड में भी होता है, सिक्किम साइड में और हिमाचल साइड में होता है. तो कई अरुणाचल में होता है. कई जगह तो इसको गवर्नमेंट परमिट ही नहीं करती है यूज करने के लिए, पर कई जगह में होता है. मुझे जो सबसे ज्यादा दुख लगता है seabuckthorn को लेके ये है कि इसको निकालने में इतना ज्यादा मेहनत करते हैं फार्मर्स, क्योंकि बहुत थॉर्नी होता है, बहुत हर्ट करता है, लेकिन उनको इसका मुनाफा जो रिटर्न मिलना चाहिए वो बहुत कम मिलता है. तो one of the projects which I had definitely wanted to do, Amshu, at one point, especially for Ladakhi farmers, was to make sure they get returns, because ये जब थोड़ा भी प्रोसेस करके इसके जैम्स बनाए जाते हैं, सिरप्स बनाए जाते हैं, लीव्स, टीव्स बनाई जाती हैं, जब भी इसको थोड़ा भी प्रोसेस करके बेचा जाता है, लोग लाखों में कमाते हैं इसको लेके. राइट. तो लेकिन जो फार्मर जो उसको करता है, उसको 50 रुपए पर केजी भी नहीं मिलता है इसके लिए. तो ये देखना कि इस वैल्यू चेन में फार्मर्स का भी फायदा हो, वो बहुत जरूरी है. हाँ,
this is what we are working on. We have already built a model. हम एक मॉडल बिल्ड किए इसके लिए कि हम अलग, सो seabuckthorn के जो प्रोड्यूस है वो अलग अलग इंडस्ट्री में अलग अलग एप्लीकेशंस में है. फॉर एग्जांपल, द स्किन ऑफ seabuckthorn इज यूज्ड इन कॉस्मेटिक इंडस्ट्री, राइट? एंड द बेरी पल्प एक्सट्रैक्ट जो होता है उसमें ऑयल कंटेंट है, सो ऑयल गोज इनटू फार्मास्यूटिकल इंडस्ट्री एंड लीव्स गो इनटू टी इंडस्ट्री. सो ईच प्रोड्यूस के जो सेक्शंस है वो अलग अलग इंडस्ट्री में काम आता है. So we are giving returns back to the farmers depending on the different produce extract, that is seeds के लिए अलग पैसे मिल रहा है उनको, skin के लिए अलग पैसे मिल रहा है उनको, leaves के लिए अलग पैसे मिल रहा है उनको. So it is not just for their time and effort कि जाके वो berry pick करके आ गए ना, not for that, but for every single attribute that needs to be valued, right? So we have built a model around it.
We need to close.
And when it comes to harvest,
now we need to. You almost did. You want 1 or 2 minutes more, I'm sure.
I'll just mention on like one last thing. When you mentioned about the harvesting problem, right? The harvesting of seabuckthorn because of the thorniness. We have a startup which is an IISc Bangalore startup which has worked in. It's called a Sickle Innovations. They have developed harvesting tools for apple, harvesters in Himachal. So this is also the company that we are working very closely for field trial this year. They have developed a harvesting tool for seabuckthorn, and they have done their field trials in Leh. So we are doing our field trials in Spiti this year, जहाँ पे a farmer जिनका by using that sickle innovation, the tool that they've developed for seabuckthorn harvest, it is going to bring the harvest time down to 1/10 of the actual time that is there today.
Very nice.
So it is built on a vacuum technology. So we are working on to very closely with them and bringing it to the communities also there.
Thank you, Amshu. I'm going to definitely touch base with you on this and ensure that wherever harvesting is happening, it's being done responsibly without cruelty.
Sure. Thanks for having me on this session.